Hey y'all, it's your girl Ariza, licensed clinical social worker. Yes, social workers, we are so lit. Anyways, I've helped dozens of test takers just like you pass and succeed. So I don't know if you're a first timer or a repeat test taker, but this is the place to get the tools, the strategy, and the mindset you need to level up and pass this exam. And today I got something good for you. I'm feeling good. I have something good for y'all. It's just gonna be an amazing video. It's probably not gonna be that long, but I'm gonna give you some nuggets that's gonna really help you if you're taking your test in 2025. And more importantly, if you're testing for the LCSW exam, you must tune in and you must watch this video. Before I jump in, I just gotta say, I did my first boot camp this weekend and oh my God, it was litty. Yes, we had so much fun. Long hours, lots of time, lots of information, lots of content, lots of strategy, lots of questions and answers and all that good stuff. But it was a good time. It was an amazing group. I appreciate y'all. If you're watching this video, I just want to let you know, thank you so much for being the beginning of something that's going to be amazing and help so many pass the test. I'm just ready to hear about everyone in that group, just 100% success rate, because I just feel it in my bones. They showed up and we showed out, and they did what they were supposed to do. They asked the questions, they came to get the knowledge, they listened, they were attentive. Oh my God, they even stayed the whole time. I'm thinking 12 hours, 2 days, some people gonna drop out, but no, they stayed with your girl. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And I know they're gonna be rewarded tremendously by being able to show up in the comment section and tell you, I got licensed, y'all. Yes, that's the plan. So let me go ahead and jump into today's discussion. So you're future LCSW. You're still using that old DSM-5. I know, because I got it too. I'm guilty for it. But there's some old DSM-5 terms that just are not applicable no more. The exam is going to catch you slipping. So the 2025 ASWB exam is aligned with the DSM-5-TR. So there are new buzzwords, some change labels, and some subtle test traps designed to trip you up. Yes, they are designed to trip you up because they think you're going to stick with the DSM-5 and not the TR. Well, let's make sure that you walk into the exam with confidence, feeling like a pro, and you know exactly what you need to succeed. So let me tell you why this matters. The DSM-5-TR, which is the text revision, dropped in 2022, but it is fully integrated into the 2025 LCSW exam. Yes, almost caught me slipping. So I had to come back and redeem myself and make sure I got all the nuggets, all the research, and put the stuff together so I can share it with you. Yes, the ASWB isn't going to test what you used to know. They're testing if you understand the updated diagnostic language. You feel me? So if you miss the subtle wording changes and don't recognize the new conditions, that's a lost point. It is absolutely a lost point because many of the questions are not written using buzzwords. Instead, it's like naming the full diagnosis, so decoding the language is key. Thought about doing this video, not sharing slides, but I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna share the slides, and those that started were the first ones in my boot camp. Yes, the first ones in my boot camp, they already got this cheat sheet. Absolutely. We went over so much information. Unfortunately, I didn't get to this. So I provided them with the cheat sheet so they can actually use it, study it, and they are like 100% solid and solidified in all the content they need so they can level up and pass. All right, hope some of you are gonna be in the next boot camp. But until then, let me go ahead and just show you what I got for you today and see if this helps you out and able to help you understand the changes. Yeah. So right now, this video is on the new DSM-5-TR buzzwords and what you need to know to pass the LMSW exam, which I already tell you that, so I'm just repeating myself, just being a little repetitive so you guys can know. In case you left, went to the bathroom, came back, went and got something to drink, came back, took a phone call, came back, whatever it is. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the DSM-5, and I know y'all like the buzzwords. I see it's making the video just pop, so I just added it in there. I could have said the new DSM terms or words or something like that, but I chose buzzwords because you guys seem to like that. All right, so let's just jump in. We're gonna go ahead and go over some of these slides. I'm gonna break it down, explain it to you as the best I can. So just stick with your girl and let's just see. So these are the changes that you must know. That's what we're dipping in right now. First, we're gonna talk about the changes you must know and some of the terminology, so that way when it shows up, you like, look, I'm ready to show out on this exam because I know it. So prolonged grief disorder, PGD. Yes, this is a new diagnosis. Whew. And we talked about this a little bit this weekend in the boot camp. However, I'm going to break it down a little bit more because this is something new. All right, so this diagnosis is new and it's under trauma and stress related disorders, which trauma and stress-related disorders. So don't ask, does it fall under mood disorders? Does it fall under anxiety? Does it fall under personality? I know, you got it. I'm just messing with you. Yes, it falls under trauma and stress-related disorders. So some key clues that are going to be on the exam is that if you see a scenario or an example where the individual in the scenario is dealing with persistent grief lasting 12 months or more and having a preoccupation with the deceased, yes, the deceased loved one, the deceased individual, however you want to term it, but they have like a preoccupation with them. Intense emotional pain, loneliness, and identity disruption. You're not looking at adjustment disorder, because I said 12 months or more. You're not looking at major depressive disorder. You're looking at 12 months or more with persistent grief. And you must look for the keywords preoccupied with the deceased individual, intense emotional pain, loneliness, and identity disruption. Now, we must be aware whether it's culturally inappropriate or maladaptive grief response, because we have to understand right here, let's just pause for a moment, is that different cultures grieve in different ways. So we can't say that it's inappropriate for one culture to deal with this. The DSM-5 they come into their senses and they're like, look, not everybody thinks like the traditional American. You know, there are a lot of people from other cultures and other places, and when they grieve, it might look a little different. So pay attention to that and understand it. And it's really important to recognize what your clients are going through and what they're dealing with. All right, guys, real quick, I'm always talking about the community, the LCSW vibes. We leveling up. And this is the sneak peek of the community. As you can see, it's on and popping. We got a lot happening. I got ethics over here, human development, or study guides that you guys asked me about on the YouTube channels, all right there. Test questions. You just want to level up and learn and see if you can answer those questions. I'm testing your knowledge. Let me go back to the home screen. If you want to learn more about what services I offer and what other things are there, that is where you go to the learning tabs. We leveling up. So why don't you join so you can level up too? So some of the buzzwords or the phrases that you need to recognize if you get a test question is the inability to move on. Ongoing yearning. Ongoing yearning is something that we don't hear a lot of, but trust me, if you see a question, all practice quizzes, exams, all of that stuff is using this term ongoing yearning. All right? The grief is disrupting their daily life. And it's been 12 months since the loss of their loved one. All right? So make sure you don't want to confuse it with what I said before, major depression. You don't want to confuse it with, I'm making up my own words. You don't want to confuse it with adjustment disorder. PGD is grief focus. It's not a global loss of life or global loss of interest in life, like someone just being sad, being depressed, not wanting to do anything. It is specifically grief focused, and it's the loss of a loved one, and it's been about 12 months since the loss of this individual. All right? Hopefully you're tracking. I've heard somebody use that term a lot. I just wanted to say it. Hopefully I use it in the right context. All right, number 2, gender dysphoria or gender nonconformity. Yes, the DSM-5-TR clarified that there is now a distinction. Someone can have gender dysphoria, which is clinical distress that's caused by incongruence between one's assigned sex and how they identify. So someone can be assigned a female at birth, but they feel like they are a male. There's an incongruence there, and it causes them some type of clinical distress. That is gender dysphoria. It must be clinically significant enough and cause impairment, which most, if not all, clinical diagnoses in the DSM-5 have that. It's normally some type of clinical significant, and it causes some type of impairment. All right, now moving on to gender nonconformity. This is a non-pathological variation in gender expression. So why does this matter? It is a non-pathological variation in gender expression. Why does this matter? Because the exam wants to make sure you know this. They want to understand that they can test your cultural humility, you're aware, you understand that there are different cultures, different ways of seeing things. So when you're choosing an intervention or diagnosis based on identity confusion versus pathologizing, and I normally practice these words before I say them, but yeah, that pathologizing word, someone's gender expression, is a big ethics moment. So on a serious note, let me break that down and simplify for you. And when you're looking at an exam question and it's asking you to choose interventions or diagnosis, you must understand if the client is dealing with A, gender dysphoria, or B, gender nonconformity. And you have to understand that there are different definitions and different things. So number one, gender dysphoria is when the individual has a clinical significant and impairment in how they're feeling about their assigned gender and feeling as if they should be another gender, and that is causing some clinical distress. Hopefully that's making sense. So make sure you got that. Hope that is causing some distress. Resuming to gender nonconformity. Gender nonconformity is basically a general term that means that the behaviors or expressions that the individual has deviates from the actual traditional gender norms. So the first one, they might be born a female or a male or whatever, and they feel like they should be another gender, like a female or a male, vice versa, the opposite of what I shared. But when it comes to gender nonconformity, just think about it as like non-conforming. They're not conforming to what society says certain gender roles should be. So it's not necessarily a diagnosis that the individual might have. It's a term that we have to be familiar with and we have to understand. Because a lot of individuals that have gender nonconformity, they don't have gender dysphoria. They're okay with not conforming to the norms of society. So hopefully that makes sense. And I had to bring it into you to kind of explain it, because I know sometimes these terms and words can be confusing. And if we're not familiar with it, we have to figure out a way to simplify it so you can understand. Hopefully I did that. Hit me in the comment section and let me know you did that. Or be like, look, you need to go back and redo that. Just let me know. All right, so staying on track, some of the buzz clues and words that you need to look at when you see this is discomfort with assigned sex. Automatically we're thinking what? Yes, gender dysphoria. If it's distress about secondary sex characteristics, you're still looking at gender dysphoria. Now, when it says expresses self in gender nonconforming ways, but no distress, you're looking at gender nonconformity. So these are the things that you have to understand and know if you see it on exam. I'm sure I went over it. You might get a question or two, I doubt two, on the exam, but it's good to know because this is gonna be an easy point. You're gonna be like, LCSWVIBES did it again. She gave me the nuggets and I went in there and had that one question and I got it right. All right, number 3, cultural concepts of distress. Oh, let's see how I'm gonna break this down. Is now formally included in the DSM-5-TR. So that's why it's important. But let me tell you what the terms consist of. You have cultural syndrome. That is a cluster of symptoms within a specific cultural group. Someone told me ataque de nervios. That is basically attack of the nerves, and that is some symptoms and it falls in a certain cultural group. So yes, you might not be familiar with it, I might not be familiar with it, but it's part of a cultural syndrome within that specific culture. Now the second term is cultural idiom of distress. Now that is how distress is communicated. Like my nerves are bad, and you hear people say that all the time, my nerves are bad, this is gonna, whatever it is, that's how it's communicated. So that is an idiom of distress. That is kind of how it's being explained within that culture. Now, the cultural explanation is attributing the cause and symptoms to a cultural belief. So maybe the individuals in this culture feel like they have a spiritual imbalance. As a result, they feel like their nerves are bad and they're having the symptoms of something they call ataque de nervios. I know somebody's gonna get me in the chat and be like, you said it wrong, they're gonna pronounce it, so I apologize in advance. All right. However, I hope you understand what I'm saying when it comes to the cultural concepts of distress, CCD. You're able to look at those 3 terms and understand it. If you are to get a question or if it's explained to you, you're like, aha, I got it. If not, rewatch the video. It'll click. Sometimes it takes 2 times, sometimes it takes 3. Just watch it and see if it works. Are you studying for the LCSW or LMSW exam? Don't waste time on the wrong prep. Try my test prep program for free with a full module that gives you the real strategies, the real practice, and real results. Plus, you get access to my exclusive test prep community where you'll find support, study material, and accountability. No risk, no stress, just results. Click the link in the bio so you can get ready to win with the winning team. All right, so some buzzwords or some clues that you want to look for in an exam are symptoms not explained by the Western models, spiritual imbalance, community-based explanation, culturally understood distress. These are the terms that you want to look for and you want to see, because that will help you understanding like, okay, we went over that. Those are some terms. This is what I need to know. All right. Now, unspecified versus other specified diagnosis. Yeah, they done made a little bit of changes on us. So think about it. Diagnostic labels often seen at the end of a question stem. That's when you'll need to know. Other specified, you have some idea of the condition, but it doesn't meet all the criteria. So listen, other specified, if you see that at the end of a diagnosis, you have some idea of the condition, but it doesn't meet all of the criteria. Unspecified means you just don't have enough information, or the client didn't fully disclose what you needed them to disclose to determine if that was the diagnosis or not. So the way this might appear in an exam is that a vague stem may push you to prematurely assign a client a full diagnosis, but what they want you to do is choose either other specified or unspecified. Let me give you an example. You're meeting with a client, they have signs of depression, they are having symptoms, and you're like, they did just lose their job, they had another significant loss, they could have some other, I don't really know. I would say adjustment, but they said this has been going on over the last year. They have it, like you're just stuck because you're getting all these symptoms and all these things, and you're like, I'm not sure what it is. So you would give them the diagnosis that you see fit or that you feel might be, but you want to add. What do you want to add? Yes, you want to add other specified because you don't have it doesn't fully meet the criteria of the diagnosis you're trying to say. Or if you just don't have enough information, you'll say unspecified. That is pretty much what those two terms mean. Those of you that LCSWs, you need to know this, and especially if you're going to be doing private practice. If not, it's just good information to know. All right, so some words that you want to look for here are that the symptoms align with, but missing full criteria, insufficient information, partial presentation. These are the terms that let you know the diagnosis that you're thinking about giving that they have is not fully there, but it's close. All right, so those are some things you want to look for. All right, now let's talk about the autism spectrum disorder, ASD. It's some language shifts here. And the DSM-5-TR, they finally did the retirement of terms like Asperger's. Yes, so you guys, you hear that? They retired terms like Asperger's. Yes, they retired it. So if we pull up the DSM-5, you're gonna see it. If we pull up the DSM-5-TR, they retired it. That's what that means. So all presentations now fall under autism spectrum disorder. You can have different severity levels. You can go from mild to severe. That will determine where you see the client at, but the term Asperger's is removed. So you want to focus on the level of support required. Do they need a level 1? Do they need a level 2? Or do they need a level 3? That's going to let you know the severity and the level of support that they need. So it's really, really, really important to understand that when you're working with clients on the autism spectrum, that this is pretty much some of the language shift that we're experiencing. So it's kind of like back in the day when we used to use the term mental retardation. Again, don't cancel me. I'm using the term that we used to use, which was called mental retardation, and we used to say mild, moderate, or severe. Now it's intellectual disability. You cannot use that term anymore. So I'm sharing that so you don't get yelled at, or someone doesn't look at you and say, oh my God, you licensed and you be watching that lady LCSWVIBES and you say she be giving you all the nuggets and she didn't tell you that. I doubt if they say that. But if they do, you can say, oh yes, she did. I just forgot. So know now that Asperger's is not a terminology that we're going to use. It's retired. Yeah. So you don't want to use outdated labels when it comes to the exam. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's move on to neurocognitive disorders. I actually just did a video on this less than a week ago. Hopefully you guys tuned in and watched and you learned all about those neurocognitive disorders. All right. So neurocognitive disorders, you have the mild versus the major. So the key difference is they can be independent in their daily functioning. A mild neurocognitive disorder is measured based on cognitive decline, but they can still live independently. So these are the individuals, they have some type of disorder that falls under neurocognitive, but they're able to do things independently. However, you have major NCD where they have lost their independence and it interferes with their daily activities. So these individuals aren't completing their hygienes, they aren't paying the bills, they aren't taking their medication on their own. They have some support and it's definitely needed for them based on their diagnosis and based on where they fall along that continuum of the neurocognitive disorder. So remember, when it comes to buzzword clues, you can still drive and manage your finances. You're going to probably hear that, but it's going to be mild. That's pretty much mild neurocognitive disorder. Now, if they need help remembering to eat, take a bath, that's a major. See the difference? One, they can still do things independently, like most of us who are watching this video, but some of them might have some delays and some things that prevent them from being able to do things on their own. So they would be in the major category. So here goes a quick fire review. I like to just recap because I know we went over a lot of information, so I'm gonna go over the terms that we discussed. Listen carefully. Do I have a cheat sheet? You know I do, but I gave it out to the bootcamp people first, and then I'll make sure that I drop it in the community probably within the next week. So a lot of you gonna say, cheat sheet please, cheat sheet please. I'm just gonna be honest with you and tell you right now, the community is popping with the cheat sheets, and you just need to go to the community. And if you go to the community, you can go to study guides and cheat sheets, which is a tab on the left hand side, and you can get the cheat sheets that I've been talking about in these videos, because I'm just going to direct you there. And if you don't know the website to join the community, go to www.ariza, ARISZA Hillman, HILLMAN. Yes, my first and last name all together.com. And when you click on the page, the first thing it's going to say is going to have a little picture of me and some other little stuff, but it's going to say join the community. That's why I'm sending you there. Just click on the join the community and you right there. I don't have to send that long link and cutting and pasting and doing all that stuff. Oh man, shout out to my IT person. He always hooking a sister up. You know, I'm telling you, because oof, boy, if I didn't have this support in the back end of things, and I don't know what these videos would look like, and I definitely don't know what that website and community would look like. But anyways, just know that I'm thankful if they're watching this video. I doubt it, but I'm thankful either way. Hey guys, I stopped by to tell you this. You do not have to win alone. Absolutely not. People in the community are winning each and every day. The proof is in the pudding. Go in the community. It's free. We're throwing down test questions, case studies, the FNBM method, all the details and everything you need so you can succeed. Click the link in the bio and join. You don't need to do this alone. See you soon. So right now, these are the terms you don't want to miss. PGD, the prolonged grief disorder. Gender dysphoria versus gender nonconformity. Cultural syndrome, the idiom and the explanation. Unspecified versus other specified. Neurocognitive, the mild versus major. Understand that, and understand that ASD has different levels of support. These are the main terms and the main things you need to know and you need to be aware of, and I guarantee it's going to help you when you're moving forward and doing that. All right, so remember, when you're reading the DSM terms and the exam, always ask, what level of detail is the exam giving me? If the client isn't showing functional impairment, it's probably not a clinical diagnosis yet. All right, make sure the DSM-5, you have an understanding, is now the TR. So I know I have my old DSM-5 here, but it's the TR version, guys. We gotta step it up a notch. All right, I know mine is, oh man, I'm holding on to my DSM-5 like I just can't see all these labels, and you know, I don't even have a cover page on this thing, but I just can't see switching over. So I'm probably gonna find another way to just add the stuff to change, because I really like this book. And I just feel once I get the TR and label it and do all that stuff, since this came out in 2022, they're probably gonna just come out with another one, DSM-6. Yeah, I took the test with the DSM-4-TR. So from the sounds of things, it looks like they're changing it up every 10 to 15 years. Yeah. So keep that in mind. All right. So make sure you have taken this all in. You understand, you know where you are, and you're good. All right. So here goes my call to action. I'm going to tell you to make sure you like, make sure you drop a comment, make sure if you want the DSM cheat sheet and all this stuff right here that I just went over, bam, make sure that you go in the comment section. Don't say cheat sheet. Just go in the comment section and you will see the link to join the actual community, www.arizahillman.com, or either in the video description. Just click on it. We're making things simple now. Just click, 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 and you right in there. And if you join the community today after looking at this video, or tomorrow after I loaded the video, or within the 3 days, don't message me and ask me where's the cheat sheet, because I do it like clockwork, but I normally do it within a week posting the video. I want to make sure you get the video, you watch the video, you understand it, you comprehended it, and then you can have the cheat to go over it. See, my thing is I want you guys to know it, and then have something to help refresh and to keep you in the know. Not just so you can look at it and memorize it, baby. That's not what we do over here at LCSWVIBES. We don't memorize terms. We don't tear each other down. We support one another, and we make sure that everyone feels good and motivated so they can pass the exam. And the one thing we do over here, for sure, is get people licensed. So if you're on the fence, or you're a multi-test taker, or your anxiety is through the roof and you don't know what to do, but all you know is that you gotta pass this exam, you are in the right place. It's a reason you were sitting here. It's a reason you found my videos. It's a reason that you're connected to the community. And you're gonna see just that. Within the next 3 to 6 months of you taking your exam and you pass and walk away, you're gonna feel it in your bones and know you're in the right place. And the one thing you're gonna do to pay me back is just tell another social worker. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. It's just tell another social worker. We just blessing people. And to the next one, you have an amazing day. Make sure you study, but don't overdo it. And I'll see you in the next one.